So this is going to be another DVD review. This one's called Pulp Fiction Bonus Material. This was all the rage movie of 1994. I hated all the mainstream media attention that it got. And you can see it all for yourself on this DVD. I gave this DVD 1 out of 5 stars. Way back in 1994. See, I was 23 or something. I remember walking past the Landmark Theater, Menlo Park, seeing the poster of Uma Thurman smoking a cigarette and reading some Pulp Fiction. I thought that was pretty cool. She looked sexy in that poster at the time. But I never had the urge to see it. I thought Quentin Tarantino was just a media whore who liked to kiss the ass of the lamestream media. And I thought he was a sellout at the time, and I was right. What was it, about 10 years later? No, about 15 years later. Now let's say 10 to 15 years later, MySpace Cuban girl named Christina Henriquez later decided to become a Wiccan witch based on a movie that I recommended to her, Suspiria. She suggested that I should put Pulp Fiction and The Dark Knight on my Netflix queue. 2 of the most overrated movies of all time, right up there with Citizen Kane, which, by the way, Roger Ebert compares Pulp Fiction to Citizen Kane on this disc. Not ironically. I'll talk about Godard and Samuel Fuller also. So Quentin Tarantino goes on this boring-ass Charlie Rose PBS show that I never watched in my lifetime until now. And he starts kissing the ass of Charlie Rose. You can tell that the whole interview is scripted. He contradicts himself by saying that he's original, yet he's copying both Godard and Samuel Fuller, which is ironic because Godard used to make the same argument back in the early 60s. Oh, I'm original. I know how to do jump cuts. While admitting that he was copying Samuel Fuller, even putting Samuel Fuller and Fritz Lang in his movie Contempt. Two directors that he tried to copy and failed miserably, I might add. So Tarantino says Godard is one of his favorite directors, which is ironic because he also mentions Samuel Fuller, whom Godard copied. So he's basically copying a copycat of an original, is what he's saying. And he's saying that he's so fresh and original, he can jump from one storyline to the next. Sort of like Dark Shadows writers, I guess. So now we know where Quentin Tarantino got his idea for jump cuts in Kill Bill. But I guess Pulp Fiction is his magnum opus. So that's why there's bonus material on this. I thought Pulp Fiction was okay. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't a great movie. It certainly doesn't deserve an 8.9 rating on IMDb, for Christ's sakes. But what has Quentin Tarantino done since Pulp Fiction? I mean, he's kind of a fly-by-night director, similar to Godard, who basically had that 4-year period of being in the limelight, being famous, whatever. What has Quentin Tarantino done since 1994? I remember my pot smoking heavy metal fan friend that I used to work with at a round table in Menlo Park. He used to talk. He talked about Reservoir Dogs one time, about how they make jokes about anal sex and stuff like that. So it's kind of raunchy, raw. Even Siskel and Ebert hated it, which probably means that it's a good movie because they love Pulp Fiction for some odd reason, but they hated Reservoir Dogs. And you can see there, they spend a whole half an hour talking about Pulp Fiction, but the rest of the DVD is pretty much all about self-aggrandizing Quentin Tarantino, talking about how he's God and he represents Generation X and he's so fresh and all this other bullshit. I'm not saying he's a bad director per se, but he's not a superstar director in the same camp as Brian De Palma or Samuel Fuller. All these people that he pretends to be, similar to Godard. Although Godard is far worse than he is, so comparing himself to Godard is a mistake in my opinion. In more ways than just contradicting yourself and being a poser of a poser. So that's the issues that I had with this DVD. Number one, I didn't think it was as great a movie. I'd say it's about as half as great as people make it out to be. The only funny scene being the leather gimp guy. That was pretty funny, but the rest of the movie pretty much kind of bore me. I thought it was a long movie, like Kill Bill was split into two parts. You could have split this movie into two parts. And a lot of it's just pop culture, eating hamburgers and doing the twist and Marilyn Monroe imitator, stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff about 50s Los Angeles culture, or the way things used to be back in the 50s, kind of with the modern update. So that part, that movie didn't really intrigue me that much. I didn't think it was original. Jumping around from scene to scene, who cares? I mean, why is that such a magical trick? And why is it such a great thing? Tarantino even goes so far as saying that he's like a novelist, putting a novel inside a picture and jumping around like that. I don't know. I haven't read too many novels in my lifetime, so I can't really say yes or no. But going all the way back to ancient Greek tragedies, I'm sure that they didn't jump around back then, because I have studied ancient Greek literature, and I don't recall ever seeing any jumping around. Just as a lot of the movies I review, I don't recall there being only bad guys and no good guys in ancient Greek tragedies. Yeah, usually there's a protagonist and an antagonist, but in these kind of films, they're all antagonists. And that's supposed to be that's supposed to be art or film house art, I guess, in the minds of mainstream media. They all jumped on the bandwagon. Siskel and Ebert hated Reservoir Dogs, like I said, which probably makes it a good movie. And they loved Pulp Fiction, which was not a so good movie. So, got to figure whatever Siskel and Ebert give a thumbs up, you give it a thumbs down, or at least my channel gives it a thumbs down. And then whatever Siskel and Ebert gives it a thumbs up, or whenever Siskel and Ebert gives it a thumbs down, you give it a thumbs up, or my channel gives it a thumbs up. That's the way of the world, the natural order of things. Okay. And I'm sorry that Christina Enriquez turned me on to this one in the Dark Knight, and I didn't like it as much as she did, which is probably one of the reasons why she doesn't talk to me anymore. But can't expect much from a girl that you met on MySpace like 10 years ago. So that's about it. That's about all I have to say about this disc. It's kind of lame that communist turd Godard and Michael Moore are on this disc. Michael Moore interviews Quentin Tarantino. And again, it's just a kiss ass fest. Oh, you're an indie filmmaker. Wait a minute. It's a Miramax film. Oh, I contradicted myself again. Anyways, I guess if a place at Landmark Theater is considered indie, even though it's the distributor is Miramax, if that makes sense, it does make sense to me, especially if it got nominated for 7 Academy Awards. Hardly an independent film per se, but yeah, what has he done since 1994? I saw him in, was it Sin City or Planet Terror, which wasn't even a movie that he directed. Some wannabe director, Paul Rodriguez or whatever his name is, another copycat director, made those films. And I thought those films were better than Quentin Tarantino films. Some of the ones that I've seen, like Pulp Fiction, like Kill Bill Volume 2. What other film has Quentin Tarantino done that's got widespread critical acclaim since Kill Bill or Pulp Fiction, for that matter? I mean, he is like Godard. He's got that one period where he just pumped out a couple of movies that got mainstream attention, maybe 2 or 3. And Godard did a flurry of movies that quickly became the leader of the French New Wave, so to speak, whatever the hell that is. I'm not even familiar with those other French directors. I've only seen Godard flicks, but they're pretty bad. Generally, they're pretty bad. I think the highest rating I gave to a Godard flick was 3 out of 5 stars, which is what I gave Pulp Fiction. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Quentin Tarantino. I'm sorry, I just think he's overrated, and he's not as talented as people made him out to be. I think he kissed a lot of ass, and that's how he got worshipped by the mainstream Hollywood crowd. That's why I never went to see Pulp Fiction when it was on the big screen at Landmark Theater, even though I was intrigued by the poster. I think the poster was higher quality than the movie. The way Uma Thurman's kind of smoking a cigarette with her arm up like this, and then she's looking down at some kind of sleazy pulp novel. That actually is a decent poster, but unfortunately the movie isn't as good as the poster or the marketing. I think they put a lot of marketing into this and not enough directing. Even though Tarantino got the Oscar for the screenplay, I think he didn't do a good enough job directing. He's not as great as a director as people make him out to be, and I felt that way, 20 years ago. I still feel that way today. So nothing has changed really. I did see the movie just to be, to sort of fit in with my friends who had seen his movies. I still haven't seen Reservoir Dogs, which is probably a better movie than Pulp Fiction. If it's anything like Kill Bill 1, I want to see it. But anyways, I'll probably get around to seeing it one of these days, like when I'm 70. I'm not a big hurry to see it. I'm not a big Quentin Tarantino fan. Plus, it starts with an R. I'm still working on the B's, man. My psychotronic movie guide. Pulp Fiction. Let's see. Oh. Prize-winning hit that amazes and impresses nearly everyone who sees it. Yeah, I guess I'm not nearly everyone. About Reservoir Dogs. Probably way back here. Yeah, here we go. Reservoir Dogs. Intricate, flashback-filled movie. Much publicized directing career. Yeah, what about sums up this disc? Much publicized directing career. And the only good thing I can say about it is they try to make Quentin Tarantino into this kind of Horatio Alger guy, working shit job at the video store. And all of a sudden he becomes this major movie director. But like I said, he was kind of a fad, kind of fly-by-night director. This movie still gets a lot of play, though. So, of course, Miramar had to hype it up with the bonus features DVD. Or Miramax, I should say. Did I see Miramar? So, yeah, they're probably still raking in the cash from this flick, but I can't really say the same for Godard, just because I don't see that many reviews of Godard, and some of his discs aren't even available on Netflix anymore. They just disappear, like Pierre Le Fou, whatever it's called. That movie isn't available on Netflix anymore. how many how many people have seen Godard's newer movies? I mean, he kind of faded away after 1965, his divorce with Anna Katrina. He just did a bunch of communist bullshit with Rolling Stones, Jane Fonda, Black Panthers, you name it. And then in the 90s, he just talks about uh, world events and I don't know, more bullshit relationships in France, uh, ugly naked white women. I mean, who watches that crap? Nobody. Maybe riding on a bus. Um, yeah, so I thought Pulp Fiction was boring. I thought this bonus disc was just promoting Quentin Tarantino, the person, like worshiping him like a false idol kind of thing. And I felt the same way in 1994 when this movie came out. I mean, I had absolutely no desire to buy the movie ticket, even with the attractive movie poster on the window of Landmark Theater back then. So, whatever. I'm not crazy about Quentin Tarantino. Like I said, I saw him in a cameo in either Planet Terror or Sin City, one of those movies. And then there was Kill Bill, but other than that, I really don't know what he's done in between those time periods or after Planet Terror. I mean, what has he done since then? He's probably still raking in the cash from this movie, which is why it has the bonus features. I don't know. I don't know if there was something in his contract that just made him get a certain percentage of the profit or something. But he cashed in on this movie big time. He could have retired after this. And of course, promoting himself and kissing the butts of Michael Moore, Charlie Rose, those types of individuals. I'd never seen Charlie Rose prior to this. This is the first time that I've seen the show. It tells you how much I really enjoy watching public television. Not. I mean, this Charlie Rose guy is just feeding him questions that he already knows the answer to. It's like, when you go through divorce and the woman gets to say whatever she wants, make up whatever lies she wants, and the psychologist is just sitting there going, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. Yeah, that totally makes sense. That's what it reminded me of. Of course, I should know because I've been through that whole process going back 2 years. Or was it 3 years? I can't remember. It's been a long time. But this disc just irritated me. I wanted to get it out of the way. That's why I watched it first. I got Two-Lane Blacktop bonus features up next. Now, this is a movie that I actually enjoyed. Seminal American road movie from 1971. Hell yeah! James Taylor, Chris Christopherson. Can't get any better than that. 1955 Chevy. Oh yeah. I enjoy watching this. This is probably a Criterion Collection disc, if I'm not mistaken. Two-Lane Blacktop. The Criterion Collection. Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to this. Disc 2. Right on, right on. Oh, the 2 is backwards. Maybe it'll be frontwards when I'm done with this video. But I guess I'll start watching it tonight. Maybe I'll finish it up in the morning. Then I have nothing to watch while my son's watching Transformers Rescue Bots toy reviews on YouTube. I got nothing to watch on my portable DVD player, man. I need to get another laptop with a disc player that actually works. How much are laptops nowadays? Like $100? I wish Obamacare was $100 a month. But you buy a computer for $100 and it'll last you a few years. How come televisions and computers get cheaper, but everything else goes up in price? Even though they call it the Affordable Care Act, I'm paying $555 a month for a Kaiser Gold plan. And they tell me they're going to cancel if I don't pay by March 13th. They screwed up my bill. They're supposed to give me a refund, and they gave me a cancellation notice instead. Anyways, I'm digressing. I'm supposed to be reviewing DVDs. This DVD sucks. Definitely avoid it at all costs. Laters.